Everyone's like, Mike, what are you talking about? You're buying a property a week. What do you mean renting? Don't you make all of your profit from renting your properties to people? Yes, but. Hey everyone, Mike Rosehart here, talking to you guys today about why renting might be just better than buying. Why you should rent, not buy. I would love it if you shared this video and hit the little subscribe button right at the bottom right. That would be a huge, awesome thing. And the thumbs up would be great. Thank you so much. Okay, so I said it. I'm a big real estate investor here. Everyone knows that I've got like 30 plus properties that I'm actively involved in London, Ontario. Everyone's like, Mike, what are you talking about? You're buying a property a week. What do you mean renting? Don't you make all of your profit from renting your properties to people? Yes, but let's talk about why renting makes a lot of sense. So, renting can make a ton of sense in certain situations. If you live in Toronto, Vancouver, New York, LA, any major metropolitan area, there are distinct advantages to renting versus owning property, especially in flat markets or declining markets. Now let's look at London, Ontario, because London, Ontario is one where usually it makes way more sense to own a property than to rent out the property. And there are rent versus buy calculators you guys can go take a look at, but let's look at the numbers right now. So in said example, right, in my, right around my neighborhood right here, there are houses 2 blocks over here that are being built right now for $700,000. These are $700,000 properties. They are nice, 2-car, 5-bed, 4 baths, but they are done up to the nines. You know, some of them have walkout basements, stuff like that. I was very, very close to renting instead of buying. And the reason is this. In my market specifically, in London, Ontario here, there are those houses for $700,000. Their current market rent is $1,900 a month plus utilities. I went on Kijiji, I went on some listings, I dug a little bit. I found a few listings at $1,900 a month plus utilities. A tenant can get full control of a $700,000 asset. Now, if I was to actually go out and buy this as an investment property, right, that $700,000 house needs to rent for about $8,000 a month to make sense. I'm buying properties in London at the $700,000 range that are multifamily that are renting for $8,000 a month for the exact same purchase price. So sometimes the single family houses just don't make sense. The numbers just don't work. If you live in Toronto and you're buying $1 million house, when you could instead get the exact same house and rent it for $3,000, $4,000 a month, what are you guys doing? Rent, don't buy. The only way it makes sense to buy in those markets is if you house hack. So in the same way that guys will buy duplexes and rent out part of the unit, or they'll put on Airbnb the spare basement apartment or the garage in-law suite, or they'll rent out portions of the property to make it cash flow and they'll get appreciation. That's the only argument I can see where it makes sense to own in those areas, those types of properties at that expense level. This house here that I live in now, I'll do a video on, but it was like a $415,000 purchase price. It's a nice big house, 3,300 square foot finished livable space. I have to make this cash flow by, it's going to be like basically a 9-bedroom, 5-bath. So it can actually cash flow because it has 2 kitchens, it's like a duplex style. But a lot of properties in this area can't cash flow. I had to find one and basically redesign it so that it could cash flow. Renting makes a lot more sense, guys. You should be renting if you live in a major metropolitan. If you own a house right now and you live in California and you own a $1.5 million house that rents for $4,000, $5,000 a month, the numbers don't make sense. You're talking about like a 5, 4 cap rate, anything under a 6, 7 cap rate. It doesn't make sense. There's no cash flow. It doesn't make sense to own these properties. For financial reasons, it makes a lot more sense to rent. Now you get a number of distinct benefits. You can still rent hack. I could still go rent that $700,000 house and then sublet my basement to someone else and cover my entire rent and live for free. You can live for free as a renter. So people talk about the negative mentalities about basically taking these rent payments and throwing them away. But what you're doing really when you own a house is throwing it away toward the mortgage interest, the property taxes, and all the carrying costs on these large houses that don't cash flow. You're just as far behind as you would be if you rented. If you actually run the numbers and compare the two scenarios, the cost of sustaining $1 million house is $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month in many cases. After you look at the mortgage payments, all the utilities, maintenance, upkeep, and if there is no appreciation, because we don't want to bet on appreciation. Now it could happen, but but we don't want to bet on it, then the renter is better off. So there's an argument in the personal finance community and the financial community where people talk about renting and investing the difference. I'm a big fan of that. You take all the capital you would have spent buying the property, invest it somewhere else, and get a great return on your investment. Of course, every single market is different. If you're buying a house in the $200,000, $300,000 range here in London, Ontario, the numbers tend to work better for buying the house. But if you're buying in the $700,000, $600,000, $800,000 range, it makes way more sense to rent that exact same house, financially speaking. Now, there are emotional reasons why you might want to own over buying, but we're talking pure dollars and cents, because people make the argument that it's better to own financially than to rent, and that's not always the case. There are many people who rent and invest and do extremely well. The one advantage of homeownership is that it's a forced savings vehicle. The mortgage principal pay down is forced, and so that's a huge distinct advantage, I think, for some of the average people. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love to, if you smash the like button. Are you currently, I'm curious, are my 2,000 something subscribers, are you guys renters? Are you landlords? Do you rent where you live and then own houses that you rent out? Because that's smart. I thought about buying a bunch of houses, renting them out, and then renting where I lived. There's nothing wrong with that strategy. Yet you buy the right type of real estate and you use it for investment purposes and you rent where you live instead of owning where you live. Throwing it out to the audience. If you're still watching, at the very end of this video, I would love it if you threw in the comment and just said, hey Mike, still watching. For that person that's first on this video, I'm gonna do a call out on Wise Wealth Wednesday to the person that is first on this video. So who's it gonna be? And the person who is also last is gonna get a shout out too. So you might wanna be the last person to comment. We'll do that anyway. So as always, if you wanna unlock a wealthier you, make sure you spend less, earn more, and maximize returns. Unlock the wealthiest you that you can be. Cheers, Mike Rosehart, out. Rent, don't buy.